Here's the next part, okay? You're gonna do the scale. It's your 1, it's your minor 2, your minor 3, your subdominant 4, your dominant 5/7, your minor 6/7. Here's your Neapolitan 7, which is your B flat 7, right? That really only works for mariachi and other forms of music, other genres. The fully diminished 7 chord is really the chromatic correct chord to play. So you're playing. There it is. So on guitar, you have those fully diminished 7 chords, right? So you have this one. You gotta mute this guy. Then you have this one. Then you have this one, right? And we've all heard those, right? In every bolero you've played the. Right, those are the tricky chords. I have a video where I talk about fully diminished 7 chords way back in the history of my channel. Go check that out. But those are the 2 variations of this same exercise. You're doing the scale. This is left hand technique, right? Okay. If you're on a guitar, it's a little bit, you have more options. There's more frets, more positions, more fingerings, right? Fingerings. Okay, you can use that. And then just keep going up the scales. Neapolitan 7, whole step to D, right? Whole step to the D. Now the chromatic way. There's your chromatic half step. Leading tone. Okay. Then A. Yeah, am I doing this right? So you've heard that pattern before, right? Right? Familiar? Or chromatic. E is kind of tricky on guitar because it's a mixture of bar chords and first position chords. So you're going to go. There's your A, D7, C sharp minor 7, D7, E. So if you ever played boleros or rancheras in E major, you'll notice that there's a lot of variation to the key, right? It comes to you really easily after a while. It's a little bit more difficult in F major because you have a lot of bar chords. B flat, subdominant, dominant. Okay. Once you start thinking about the scale and how the chords stack on top of each other in the scale, this becomes like a lot easier. So this lesson is meant to strengthen your left hand, right? Power your right hand, get these working together. But there's one added benefit. So you see there's a progression in these techniques, why they're taught this way, why I was taught these things, is now you're starting to think about in your mind the key, your chords of the key, and transposition. How many times as a guitar player have you been at a tocada and you know a song in A major? You might even know it in B flat major. But someone might come along and say, oh, well, I sing it in G major. And you start thinking, oh, shit, what's G major? What's the chord? You see, this is why memorization of chords is a terrible idea, because you memorize all the chords that your teacher taught you, but your teacher might not have taught you how to play the scale and transposition within the scale, right? So a good example is like, well, if I know a ranchera in A, Volver Volver is a perfect example of this, right? Because you'll have guys singing it and girls singing it, people who can't sing singing it, people who sing it in a weird fucking key, always wants to sing it at a party, and you know it in A or B flat or something, and you, how do I transpose the song, right? So like just so what do you do when it's B flat, right? Same thing. Right? What about G? Doing this exercise of playing the key in the left hand. Right. And doing it for every key and every scale. That's going to help you start learning the theory side of playing without having to sit there and draw out all the scales and the chalkboard. That's what everybody does, right? And it's good to be able to do that, but if you're trying to get fast and learn stuff and learn how to transpose and be useful at a gig, I say useful because it's a pain in the ass when you can't do it or when you have someone who can't do it. It makes you a lot easier to play with, right? It makes you a lot more like, hey, let's call that guy because he could fucking transpose Volver Volver 5 times, right? So it'll help you, okay? If you can't do it, I'm not judging. It's you know, everybody's on a different learning curve, but it'll help, okay? That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to help, okay? As best I can. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for today. My wife went to go pick up the kids from daycare, so I'm like, it's quiet. You notice how there's no fucking kids in the background screaming or yelling or giving us a hard time? They're on their way. I can feel it. I can feel it like Darth Vader, a disturbance in the Force. Like the little shits are on their way back home right now to make my life a living hell. So it's okay. They're precious. They're adorable. I love them. They're my kids. And I just found a little moment to do a quick video and try to get back on YouTube and maintain a consistent, you know, stream of videos, because that's the thing to do on YouTube is you got to be streaming and short videos and viral and all that bullshit. And all that. I had a little bit of time. I was traveling to LA this past weekend. Pulled the trigger on another guitar build, guys. I am completely out of control. I mean, as if this bad, beautiful bitch was not enough. Right, look at that. Who has that right now? Who's got that? Anybody got that out there in YouTube land or Mariachi land? Nobody wants it? Okay, sure, fine. Yeah, tell me you don't want that. This is such a special guitar for me. It was named after my nana. Right, and I'll bring it a little closer so you can see all of the beauty and glory. Look at that. Like, some people might find that super out there and crazy, ostentatious, but I mean, it's just an idea that we had and we ran with it. And Tomas did it perfectly. I mean, there's something to be said about perfection, guys. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, perfection and striving for perfection is toxic. It's all about having fun and all that bullshit. Yeah, it's about having fun. But when you got somebody who can deliver on perfection, man. He did this all by hand. All these little inlays, he cut them by hand and placed them in there by hand. And it's absolute perfection. Okay? So, I'd put this guitar up, against any other guitar any day of the week. Okay? Now you might say this is overkill. You're absolutely right. But this was for my Nana. She got me started in music. This is a very special thing that we did. And what I just signed my soul away for this past weekend was another build. And we're going to do full Brazilian, the Brazilian rosewood. Yeah, we pulled the trigger, Brazilian rosewood, spruce top, kind of to match some finer details I won't give away right now. Yeah, that's going to be for my mom. So my mother, for a lot of people that know her, she loves music. It's her favorite thing, right? She can't sing a note, and she can't play a tune on anything. But she loves music. And so she's the one every day, since I was a kid, pushed me every day. If I didn't have an instrument in my hand and I wasn't practicing and I wasn't preparing, she would let me know about it. Mostly because she had to pay for the damn instruments. And she's like, hey, that was a lot of money. I better be hearing some music coming out of that room, all right? And that's what I did my whole childhood. She pushed me. She's like, hey, did you learn that piece? Are you ready for your concert? Did you practice? Are you going to look stupid on stage? Are people going to start talking shit about you because you can't play your guitar correctly? Like, this is what she would say to me, okay? And I was like, hell no, I'm not going to suck up there and be on stage with, the Changuitos and with Cobre and God knows who else and look stupid. And like, no, that's not going to happen. So she pushed it every second of every day. So we're going to do the guitar for her. It was a very emotional thing. We were hanging out and talking about my mom and talking about the tippy top of classical guitars, which is Brazilian rosewood. Hey, the Brazilian rosewood, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. What is it about the Brazilians that you guys are great at, jiu-jitsu, rosewood, the women, they're not too bad. The guys, whatever. But the women, my wife is probably like, hey, I love you, darling. Hey, for the women, the guys from Brazil, the jiu-jitsu coaches that I've hung out with, yeesh, man, you got to keep your shit together, man, to compete with those dudes, man. They'll steal your girl for sure. But we're gonna take the next level and do Brazilian rosewood, and so I'm looking very forward to it. I appreciate everybody's support on the channel. I don't get paid from YouTube anymore, so it's not like it's gonna help any with the cost, because the cost is gonna be great. It's gonna be very expensive. Luckily, I work in finance, so I can more or less afford something like that. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. So I'm looking very forward to doing that, putting it on the channel maybe in a couple of years or so, whenever it's done, when we get to it. And that's going to be an epic thing. But that was this weekend, and yeah, I'm tired. It was an emotional roller coaster to think about what we were going to do for the guitar, but that's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully in a couple of years, when if and when it's done, we can share it, and it'll be another epic piece to add to the collection. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. That was a long outro, but hope this helps give you some ideas. I don't mean to be a dick or rude or disrespectful. I'm just saying, shit in time and don't fumble your chords, right? That's all I ask. Okay, so yeah, hope you guys like this, and we'll see you guys next time, next video.